Hello there. Today I watched Flamin Hot and now I want to tell you about it. Flamin Hot is a comedy drama that tells the life story of Richard Martinez, the guy who invented the Flamin Hot Cheeto. Despite your disbelief, this is in fact a movie about a guy who made a spicy chip flavor. It's based on a book written by Richard and was adapted into a screenplay by Louis Colic and Linda Yvette Chavez. The film was directed by Eva Longoria, and it stars Jesse Garcia as Richard, Annie Gonzalez as Richard's wife Judy, Tony Shalhoub as the president of his company, Roger Enrico, and Dennis Haysbert as Richard's friend and mentor Clarence. The story follows Richard from the time he was born until 6 months after he created Flamin Hot Cheetos for Frito-Lay. We learn his whole story from his relationship with his father to how he met his wife, and how he felt ostracized in America for his ethnicity. We learn how he came to be the man he is and how he got the job at a snack food factory. From there, Richard's journey unfolds as he gets sucked into the corporate world of chips, and he yearns for more. The story is a narrated retelling by Garcia. It follows a linear pathway with a few exaggerations here and there for effect. It's highly exciting and delves deep into one man's fears, hopes, and dreams. It's a mixture of comedy and drama, with Richard coming across as a more serious version of Luis from Ant-Man. He's a fast-talking, nervous guy that likes to inject a lot of street-level humor into his speech. He even does a couple of funny voiceovers. A lot of the humor comes from poking fun at different American ethnic groups, and most of the heart comes from Richard and his family. They do a great job of fleshing out Richard and giving a nuanced view of the drama between him and his father. And we get a wholesome relationship between him and Judy, and him and his kids. The two of them are there for each other every step of the way, and there for their kids always. There were a lot of wholesome messages in this movie about forgiveness, working together, and becoming a better person. They also emphasized the importance of seeing the good in everyone and giving people a chance. The humor comes in the form of visual gags, jokes, and funny situations. The film does a good job of keeping it lighthearted. There was one minor issue with the dialogue being a little stiff in places, especially during the racism scenes, but the majority of the dialogue is catchy and on point. The cast does a great job of creating characters that you want to root for, especially Jesse Garcia as Richard Martinez. The majority of the screen time goes to him, with Dennis Haysbert, Tony Shalhoub, and Annie Gonzalez all backing him up. Richard Martinez is a hopeful, fast-talking, and uneducated man. He carries himself with a lot of pride, he's always asking questions, and he tries his hardest in everything he does. Garcia plays him with a lot of passion and a gentle heart. Several times in the film he's asked to give a heartfelt speech, and it's like he ripped his own out and served it to you on a platter. By the end of the film, you want him to win. Annie Gonzalez plays his wife Judy. She's a firecracker that always has his back. She's quick to defend her family and always tries to get Richard help, even if it means going behind his back to do it. She gives a few good pieces of advice and shows off the stress of their situation in a way that we can all empathize with. Dennis Haysbert and Tony Shalhoub don't get much time, but both of them get to play decent individuals who give Richard a chance. They both give him some heartfelt advice, and Shalhoub gets to play out one of Richard's crazy gangster scenarios, but beyond that, neither of them got time for anything else. Visually, the film takes a clean and simple but aesthetically pleasing journey. The camera work is basic, but focuses well on the characters and their emotions. It also does a good job of capturing the mood of the environment. The sets are basic locations like the Frito-Lay factory, a couple of rundown houses, and a store. They do a great job of making them feel like real environments with working extras dotting the scene. The costumes are simple as well. There are a few standout scenes that make for funny gags. The two voiceover scenes that Richard does are fantastic examples. Richard imagines what the boardroom of his company looks like and how the people in it talk, and he exaggerates the conversation until it becomes hilarious. He speaks for everyone in the scene, and he makes them all talk and act like Mexican gangsters, and it makes for a great bit of contrast. These powerful men in fancy suits look totally at home acting like thugs. Sound-wise, the film makes use of a plethora of classic songs and background instrumentals to bring every scene to life. Music is interwoven throughout the film, and there's a distinctly Spanish vibe to it. The music backs every scene, but never overpowers the dialogue and always matches the mood. At times, it meshes perfectly with the scenery to create cinematic moments. One scene that stood out was when Richard and Judy are calming each other, and there is this soft inspirational track behind them while they talk. It rises and falls with the pace of the conversation, and it fits perfectly with the comforting atmosphere that Richard is trying to create. Overall, Flamin' Hot is a powerful drama comedy about a man who dared to make his chips spicy. It's got good visuals, a solid soundtrack, a decent story at the heart of it, and great acting. It isn't trying anything new, but it is a solid and enjoyable film. 9 out of 10. Normally I'd end here, but I feel I should say this. There's a lot of conversation around racism in this film, and more than a few times it comes off as completely tone deaf. Richard and his family make a lot of assumptions about white people and talk about them in terms of stereotypes, and the film goes out of its way to depict almost every single white person as an explicit racist. It even goes so far as to diminish the good actions of every white person by thanking God for making them do it. It felt weird while I was watching it, and it seems especially tone-deaf how dismissive he is of others when half of the movie is about how mean some white people were to him about his heritage and how wrong that was. Anyway, those are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Bye bye!